Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. A special day with a very special guest here, Shrapnel. We are going to be talking to Tony in just one moment. We had an amazing GM Web3 Twitter Spaces, X Spaces, sorry, Elon, here earlier with Machi Big Brother. Bored Ape Gazette as well stopped by. So that was a great space. Excited to be sitting with y'all at home here. Gifdead, what's going on, brother? What's happening?
Yeah, these are the days that I love being in this space. You know, some days are not so good. Some days you're like, why do I do this to myself? This is one of those days where it's really cool because we got awesome back-to-back guests. And it's that unexpected surprise weird shit that just happens sometimes when you go live on X Spaces. You know, we did have special guest Bored Ape Gazette talking about their upcoming AIP and what they're doing with their, media company covering everything in Yuga. And then you tagged Machi and he just happens to come in and basically do an unprompted interview with us for about the last 45 minutes of the show. It was wild. And now we get to talk to Shrapnel. What a day.
Yeah, Tony, I want to make sure I'm getting your last name right. Valcarel, is that correct?
Valcarcel, but yeah, no worries. I can't even say it correctly.
All right. I just wanted to make Valcarcel. All right, Tony, we are going to get into everything Shrapnel. I know your time is very valuable, so this is what we're going to do, folks. Early in the episode, we're going to talk all things Shrapnel. We got extraction packs going live. The game is set to officially launch, I believe, at least in some type of beta mode in December, correct? Or is that a full launch?
Nope, we'll have early access that starts in December.
All right, awesome. So we got trailers, we got everything. Big shout out to Saigo as well, a big friend of the community, Web3 in general, just one of the fam. So guys, you already know what to do here. We're getting the episode shared out. We're going to try to get as many people in here as possible. If you're watching on X, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, we appreciate you guys all the way through. Leave a like if you appreciate the content as well. Gif, hit him with the disclaimer. We'll get running with a nice little Shrapnel trailer. You know we love it.
Yes, the old disclaimer. We got to do it. It's important for your safety and ours that we remind everyone every day, as many times as we can, that this is not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. All the information is found publicly on the interwebs, and these are just the opinions of the Web3 team talking about cool shit, that we find out there for you, curating it. So NFA, DYOR, y'all know what it is.
All right. We're not going to hit the local news. Like I said, we're going to hit Shrapnel right up front. But we do have Arcade Token doing a snapshot. There was a Telegram hack last night. We got to talk Friend Tech, of course. Some Solana news over there.
Do we have to talk about Friend Tech?
Maybe.
I guess.
Big winners on the day. Mochaverse up 30%. Goblin Town 20%. Michelin Explorer Club up 20%. Sappy Seals, Moonbirds Oddities also winners. Big losers here. Nouns is down 50%. A big drop. Velocity Series down 50% as well, guys. Off the SnowFro drop. And Potatoes, Ether Capitals, and Cloaks round out the big losers. Nice to see all of you in chat. Shisha Tribe, Justin Casey, Choina, NFT Cutie, talking about Coffins.
Dude, Coffins, NFT Cutie knows what's up. Coffins is up 4,000% on the day. People aren't talking about it enough, actually.
Wow. Just generational wealth. This is not financial advice. All right, no Biggie Poppins today, but we are going to get to Shrapnel right now. We do have Tony Valcarel.
Come on, my guy.
God.
No, Valcarcel, no worries.
All right, we're going to start the show over.
I'm supposed to roll the R in there, and I can't even do that. So, no worries at all. All my Cuban family members make fun of me all the time.
I should be able to do it. I am half Mexican here. So, yeah.
I think it's a great name.
Family members are rolling over in their great. Yeah.
Tony, despite what this guy's trying to do to you here, I think it's a beautiful name. It's a wonderful name.
All right, Nick Swerve is saying y'all slept on Michelin, man. About to hit harder than Ghostbusters. Yeah, look, legality aside, we're all going to make it. So let's get into Web3 gaming. Let's get into Shrapnel. Super excited for this one. But without further ado, let's go full trailer maxi mode with Shrapnel. All right, and we do have Tony to talk Shrapnel here. Again, longtime Web3 gamer here. It's been a long, hard road for us to get to this moment where we actually have quality games coming out and not just speculative tokens and things like this. So I'm super excited for the Shrapnel release. Tony, let's talk about what you got going on, man. What's happening in the Shrapnel universe right now, and then we can kind of dive in on the history of the game.
Absolutely. So what's going on right now? We got a ton of stuff happening. As you just saw in the trailer that we showed, and apologies, I left my hat at home, so I look like Lemony Snicket today. But we just released these things called extraction packs, which are effectively like what some people think of as founders passes in other games. So if you've ever pre-ordered a video game and gotten a bunch of free stuff in game, that is the context of what these are. We've got $20, $50, and $100 tiers, and these will give you early access to the game starting in December and exclusive skins, your first in-game operator for free, and a bunch of other stuff like loot and gear to basically keep you in the fight for the first couple of months of the game. Very soon we will. So this is actually all for sale on our marketplace, which we just rolled out. Very soon, players will have the ability to buy, trade, and sell their call signs on this marketplace, which is like the gamer tag and also the player profile or history. And then also very soon, players who have been creating content in our creator tools, specifically the Insignia tool, which allows people to create basically like the base pattern or the textiles for what will become skins. So people have been creating a ton of those over the last few months. They'll be able to mint those and start trading, buying, and selling those on the marketplace as well. These are all just kind of like the Web3 components that are coming together before the game launches. And then, like I said, in December, we're very excited. We'll start inviting people in for early access weekends. And those weekends, we'll do a number of things. One, they'll help us balance the game. We're only going to sell about 50,000 of these extraction packs before we pull them down because we want to balance our server stability with the number of players we have in the game, and then we'll put them back up when we have the number of players we need to balance the servers and so forth and so on. We'll just keep doing that until the game is fully released for anyone to play that has an extraction pack in April of next year. So that's a lot of words there.
No. And we buried the lead, honestly. I mean, you're making a bag here in the bear market, here at the maybe hopefully beginning of a bull market, but definitely it's hard to get a raise done in this environment. And you guys had an awesome announcement come out today. So what happened on that front, Tony?
Oh, dude, I glossed over the money stuff. I'm sorry. So yeah, hey, congrats to us. We just made $20 million. We closed our Series A round. I started the company about a year ago, and we were just really like talking about having a Series A. And so it's been fun watching it come together from like an idea to the pitch all the way through the close. I think we've raised over $30 million so far. Again, I joined about a year ago, but it's really exciting. You know, I've been in the Web3 space for about 2 years now, almost 3, I guess. And, the difference between a fully capitalized organization and not is just, palatable. You can see it and feel it when you're walking around. I'm sitting in an office on the ocean right now. There's like a great couple of boats next to me. One's called Literally Gambling, and the other one is Risky Business. But we've got.
Is the name Literally Gambling or it's just gambling?
No. The name of the boat is both words. Literally Gambling.
Literally. Wow.
Yeah, probably sold Yetis at the top.
It's true. It's true. And so, I've got 60 people in the office here with me right now. Yeah. And, most of them are software developers and artists, not, assholes like me doing marketing. And so it's really fun to be at a place that's like building the video games that people are talking about. Like I can see it coming together. We have this guy sitting over here, Jonathan Schwartz. He's a UX guy. He was the UX lead for Halo Infinite. And I watched him for like 40 minutes the other day.
One of the things watching that trailer that I was going to comment on was like, I got some Halo vibes.
Oh yeah, dude.
I'm getting some Halo vibes in the gameplay.
We're super deep in that kind of like look and feel. We have a bunch of Gears of War people too. And so you'll see that come out kind of in our aesthetic. And this guy, Jonathan, right? Like he's our UX lead. This guy spent 40 minutes on the prompt that shows up when you're going to pick shit up in the game, right? It says like F to pick this up. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, dude, why are you spending so much time on that? It's like, I get it. It looks great. Awesome, dude. And he's like, yeah, but you know, like when you're running around and if you run by it too quick, like it won't look that good unless I do this to the pixels. He said a bunch of shit I didn't understand, but it was awesome. Like this guy it's like Tom Cruise Last Samurai, like master of your trade type shit, right? Like this guy understands like how his UX is going to look in every frame as someone is walking by it. And like that only comes with having a well-capitalized company where you can go hire professionals to do that, right? It's just awesome.
It is awesome. Hey, massive congrats on that raise. You know, we are doing our best every day here to be covering everything at Web3 and curating. It's a lot, but we do, you know, especially when there's big raises or headlines, and even just looking at the trends, you know, obviously this year, the funding, the VC raises, all that stuff has been cut by like 80 to 90% of what it was in the previous years. So to be able to successfully raise in this market like that is a huge deal. It does seem like gaming is the one place over the last couple of months that we have seen a few of these big raises. So it seems like everybody's starting to maybe realize that, you know, maybe NFT platforms and some of these other things, they're not really hitting, or they're too risky or out there. But gaming is coming. People are still putting money there.
That's what it feels like, man. You know, it's been. I'm not as much on the traditional investor side of the fence. I talk to those guys and they ask me like, "Hey, Amazon guy, do you think this thing's going to make money?" I worked at Amazon for 12 years, and so like I'll give them my opinion on that. But really, the exciting part for me, and coming out of like the kind of entrenched giant corporate world, has been talking to the retail investors or like the community folks that are just really excited about getting to be on the ground floor of this thing that we're building. And you know, UGC and the creator economy is such a big part of what we're doing that that's one of the things I'm really excited about, right? Like I worked at companies where we're making billions of dollars, and the consumers of our product, we patted ourselves on the back and thought we were doing a good job, and we saved them some money. But in this thing that we're building here, people who are actively contributing to the value of our game are the people who will most financially benefit from our game, right? Like something like 30% of our token pool is specifically for community rewards, and that just gets me all fired up, dude. It's so exciting.
All right, lightning question here. Obviously, like Gifdead said, we cover the space literally every freaking day. I don't know how we're not dead yet, pretty much. But the Amazon NFT marketplace was an interesting story for a little bit. You just said you worked at Amazon. Like, lightning question here. I would love you to just give us a take on what the hell is going on with the Amazon NFT marketplace.
My boys are running that. Actually, I hired the guy that's the head of BD for that group. I just actually was texting him this morning. My daughter calls him Uncle Will. It's going to happen. It's going to be a real thing. I hope I'm not talking out of turn. Sorry, Will, if I get you in trouble, but it's going to be a real thing for sure. And my understanding is they have some remarkable launch partners that they're going to be announcing here pretty soon that are what I would call non-endemic to the Web3 space, more like household name type stuff. So,
dude, it's awesome to get a little bit of insight into that and have somebody who may actually know what they're talking about come on and verify and share some of that, man. And on that note, by the way, when Uncle Will special guest, I'm just saying,
I think I'd get him to come on something like this,
dude. That'd be lit. But on this sort of part of getting into the Web2, business convo, even the onboarding that you're now starting to figure out and get into, I'd really love to get your take on the different layers of this, right? Because there's convincing the like institutional big game companies, investors, the Amazons, the platforms that this is viable, valuable, that it's something that they should be investing in and really prioritizing. And then there's getting just the everyday consumers to come in and play the game and figure out and understand, why is this on chain, or what does that even mean, right? So as much as, obviously there's different parts there, but as much as you can explain your experience, how you're thinking through this, how you're trying to onboard these different parties and stakeholders into something that has been fudded to death. A lot of people just don't get it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. That's a big question. And so I'm going to take it in chunks, and just tell me to shut up when I've been talking too much. Like I said,
shut up. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah, I look like a mad scientist right now. It's going to be great. So I'm going to take the B2B like industry stuff second, because that's like super straightforward. The customer stuff is a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit more complex because there's so many customer types, right? Like you have at the base level, the thing that we're creating is for people who like to pew pew, right? Like that. We want people who are like on the sticks playing the game. I say on the sticks. We're a PC game right now. There's not a console version until later, but the people who are playing the game, like that's our bread and butter. The hundreds of millions of first person shooter enthusiasts in the world, and the billions of gamers in the world who could potentially fall in love with first person shooters, right? That's my target audience. And so even within that target audience, like you can imagine that there are players of Shrapnel who will actually they probably, like me, will suck at playing the actual game, like at running around and pew-pewing and shooting people. But the thing I love about the way we're building the game and extraction shooters in general, it's what like really draws me to them, is like I can suck at extraction shooters and still extract value and and still have fun and play the game and get value out of it, right? I play the shit out of this game whenever we do play tests, and like I am the asshole who's running around like hiding, and I'll loot all this shit, I'll find all this shit. I'll wait until people are in a gunfight with each other, and then wait till the person who kills the other person goes up and starts looting them, and then shoot them, loot them both, and just haul ass. Like that is
third partying.
Yeah, I'm just like I am that guy, right? And I'm never gonna make it to the end of the match.
Vulture, straight up vulture.
There's 3 extraction points, and like the first 2 don't have as good stuff, and the last one has the best stuff. But like I always just go out in the first 2, right? Like I kill a couple people, I loot their shit, and I run. And then there's the people who are awesome at shooters. They're going to come in and play till the end and like fight over the last extraction point and get the best shit. And so, like, again, even the way I'm talking about it, the way that we're approaching attracting a base of potentially skeptical, what I guess we would call Web2 gamers, but gamers who are talking a lot of shit about the space, is it's going to be like too fun not to play. Content is king. And I talk about this all the time. I think I talked about this when I was on your spaces last time. I liken it to mobile and free-to-play gaming. But right now, there are still video game players in the world. There might be some listening right now who fucking hate free-to-play games. They hate microtransactions. They hate anything that is not paying $60 and getting Skyrim and then never paying anything again and playing the game. And you know what? That's fine. Like I love Skyrim. I love The Witcher, right? But the fact of the matter is that the gaming industry has inflected as a function of free-to-play games with ongoing transactions after the first download or whatever, right? Like Fortnite and Epic are the business they are because people spend a shitload of money in Fortnite, and in my opinion, they get the value that they're paying for. They know what they're paying for. It's not like they're not using these crazy loot box mechanics, right? Like they're buying skins. You can argue about the value of those skins, but like people know what they're paying. They're paying $10 for the fucking dance that does the fucking moonwalk, right? And so I think that that same sentiment is just here in Web3 now. It's new, it's different. There's been some shady, shitty actors. We are the first wave of video games is like, or Web3 games was effectively like the first wave of loot boxes, where it was incredibly extractive, and like there's reasons why there's all kinds of regulations against them internationally now. And we accelerated past all of that stuff. I think we got like all the bad actors in the first couple of years, and there's still some floating around out there, but they're not like lauded as the saviors of this new space that we're in, right? Like if you're not shipping stuff, people are calling bullshit pretty quick. And so I think we're getting there. I think like us and Parallel and Wildcard are going to bring hundreds of thousands, if not millions. I think Parallel is going to bring millions of people into the space, and we're going to be there, right? I truly believe that. I think Blizzard's fucking up enough with Hearthstone, and there's not someone stepping up into that space right now that like Parallel has a shot to garner millions of players.
I'm shaking, sir. My bags are packed for that as well. Big shout out to the Parallel team. I want to get into the game mechanics real quick of like what a player is actually expected to do in an extractive shooter, right? But I also want to get into this conversation around tokens. You guys are having a token that's associated with the ecosystem as well. We see it in the PFP sector. We've already seen, in my opinion, what was kind of a negative aspect in 2021 with a lot of games. You could barely call them games that essentially had a speculative token attached. Now we're seeing this next generation of games that are going to have a token attached, but you still have to figure out what's the best way to have the balance within the ecosystem. So I would ask you that.
Yeah. So first off, RIP Wolf Game. I will say that I made a non-zero amount of bag on that, but it's a great question, and I think it again goes back to the quality of what we're building, and it goes beyond just like the pew pew in this case, right? Like I got 50 people in a room next to me. They're building the game, but my team has about 4 or 5 people on it that are nothing but in-game economists. I created the loyalty program for Madden Ultimate Team and FIFA Ultimate Team, so I'm an in-game economy person by trade. We have a dude who was a literal rocket scientist before he became an economist that works with me as well. And the idea is that there are always going to be challenges with what people will call inflation in any sort of economy, where the value of the currency starts changing relative to the items within the game, and some people are impacted positively or negatively based on the assets they hold at any given time, right? Like that is going to happen. The way that we're going to mitigate people having a negative experience when that happens is through just a series of like market making type activities, right? So for example, we're working with a couple of companies now who literally their whole job is to maintain the market stability within an ecosystem, and they just basically take a percentage cut of any profit that they're making, and we support them with some like lightweight retainer to keep like the lights on and people pressing the buttons at their studios. But the idea is that like if you buy a shotgun and then tomorrow a new shotgun comes out and makes that shotgun worth $5 less, there is like a body or groups of bodies that will buy that thing for you, from you as quickly as possible. So you're not like almost like I hate using these terms because I'm actually like not an economist in that way, but like a stop loss kind of. So like that's one way we're thinking about it. And then the other again is like I came out of Madden Ultimate Team, that whole team. I don't know if anyone's following NFL Rivals. I brought that whole team with me to Seattle to Amazon, and we started Twitch Prime together, and then they went to Mythical, and I came to Shrapnel. And that whole team and I really live and die on the idea that constant content, constant new things for the players to do or buy in the game is the lifeblood of any of these games. And as long as you're leaning into that, you're going to be okay from a live service perspective.
Yeah, Tony, I got a quick question from the community. We really have some heavy hitters here. Just like we love to go just really deep into different information. So really hard hitting question here. Can you teabag as a Halo homage in Shrapnel?
So likely not during early access, but once we're a more commercial product, yes, teabagging is on the roadmap. Absolutely.
I'm so glad to hear that. That's key. I personally, Tony, am not the biggest shooter guy myself. I'm more of like you mentioned
toy cars.
FUT, MUT, toy cars, Rocket League, that competitive FIFA type of player. But what's cool about this is that, it does have that extractive loot mechanic. So this might actually be something that has more interesting mechanics that maybe I can actually get into and try out as somebody who's not as good at the pew pew games usually. I do love the concept just on its face that when people die, it is literally like Ready Player One. If y'all have seen the movie or read the book, where it's like their character dies, all their loot gets dropped, and those are NFTs. They're not just in-game assets, right? Like these are actual NFTs that you just go swipe, and you said that's your whole strategy. It's like camping, but our third party, farming people's assets. So I think that's really cool, man. My question is still kind of back to this, like, you mentioned Hearthstone is getting fucked up and that there's an opportunity for parallel and maybe card games there. One of the things that I've seen that gaming companies are fucking, or another example of a fuck up, in my opinion, is I believe it's Call of Duty that's been like taking down the expensive skins and not supporting that ecosystem. So now there's like people that keep trying to figure out how to buy and trade skins outside of their ecosystem. And they're like fighting that instead of providing a good option. What is it going to take? Like, what are these things that break the back of the gamers and they finally say, fuck this, I'm tired of not owning my assets? What else is it going to take to finally get those moments?
Content is king, man. Content is fucking king. And honestly, that's what I'm saying is like, we are in this great confluence of events that's happening right now where these games that had tens of millions or hundreds of millions of players are now dying because the companies that made those games built those games on business models that require new versions of the games to exist and for you to buy new shit in those new versions of the games that exist. Like, that's the model. That's it. Game over. And that worked when the horizon was 15 years out. And you're like, fuck, I can't even fathom spending another couple $100 on skins in this game, right? Because this is the one I'm playing, and like I'm gonna rotate in and out. And the gamer, the actual humans that were playing games played them for fewer years of their life, right? It was just like the whole generation of gamers is dramatically different right now, and some of these models haven't caught up yet. I happen to believe, as I said earlier, the creator economy model is the one that's gonna make everyone win. I think Fortnite's doing a great job with their creator economy. I think that Roblox doing a great job with their creator economy. I mean, Fortnite just did. I mean, they're I have a lot of friends who were just laid off as a function of what happened at Epic, and so I'm going to say some shit that may offend those people, and I apologize. I love all of you, but that was a brave thing. I mean, like, they took their whole business model and they said, hey, we're going to put 40% of this revenue into the creator economy. And as a function of that, there are a whole bunch of people that exist in this other model of business that like just can't, because of this new model of business that we're doing. That's ballsy as fuck, dude. That's crazy.
Major pivot.
Yeah, and that's a huge bet. It wasn't like, hey, we're incubating this weird card game while we're making World of Warcraft, and if it works out, it's okay. They literally said, we have this banger, we have Fortnite, this thing that is like a broken ATM machine printing money, and we are going to change the way that the ATM machine works. And in doing so, fire a bunch of people that were making the ATM machine work. Like, that's nuts, dude. That's absolutely crazy. And like, again, I love Tim Sweeney. I think it's ballsy. I think it's great. I think that's why they're accepting Web3 games onto their platform now. And I think that's a big part of the reason why this space is going to be successful. And by the way, sorry, real quick, I've seen a bunch of comments in the restream. It looks like we have maybe like 10 or 15 people commenting. If you've left a comment while we've been talking, and if you leave one or a question in the next 10 minutes, let's call it, we'll go ahead and give you an extraction pack for free. We'll send it to, we'll figure out how to get it to you with these guys, and we'll get you codes.
Spamming chat. I spammed F. I meant 100. Nice. Tony, I appreciate that, man, for the community. That's really dope. We do have some questions, so let me try to get to some housekeeping here, guys. This is NFT Live. We do these daily at 1 p.m. Eastern. Usually we have Biggie Poppins, Ronan the Collector is in chat as well. So usually we're filled up with a tri or a quad box. We do have a tri box here with Tony Valcarcel here from Shrapnel. Yeah, guys, I did it. Settle down. All right. We are going to stay on with Tony for about 10 minutes longer. So one thing I would like to do is if any of y'all are in the Shrapnel community right now, I know Discord has some weird rules about dropping links or something like that, but if we could get as many people from the Discord or the community as possible into this episode while we still have Tony, that would be awesome.
Tell them all they can get extraction packs right now in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
I do have a question that I want to kind of tie in here. Nick Swervis is asking Tony. Nick is, by the way, an awesome community member, OG in this space, really doing great things. He's saying, Tony, does your team need a pair of boots on the ground over in Las Vegas by chance? And I want to meld this combo in here with your raise here because one of the things I got from you while you were on a space, I don't remember exactly which space, you were talking about shrapnel operators, and these are obviously like your version of kind of like the first NFT characters, avatars, if you will. You were saying you guys are going to do buybacks as well for these things, which I thought not a lot of teams are like coming out and saying that. And I feel like it really is like that's a very simple way that you can, kind of work with the community to provide value and things like that. So I just want to kind of talk about things you're going to do next with this raise. And then, love to hear an answer to Nick as well.
Yeah, 100%. So boots on the ground in Vegas. What I'll say to that is we always need good people working for us. I've got one of my team members is in South Carolina. And I've one of my team members is standing here right here with me from Hawaii visiting. Hi, Saigo.
What up, dude?
We have someone in Bulgaria as well.
So, we got a Saigo cameo. Today's the best. Today's the best. What a day. Honestly, Machi was cool and all, but actually more excited that Saigo popped in here randomly.
Of course. And then in terms of how we're gonna keep adding value to the community, and if you're an operator holder, we keep we're continually finding ways to add value. We've done a couple of token airdrops to operator holders. We've given everyone a heavy extraction pack. Everyone who holds multiple operators in their wallet or did at the snapshot will get a light extraction pack per every operator they held. at the snapshot, and we're going to keep doing stuff like that in the future, right? We'll have as soon as we roll out new features in the game, operators will be the people that get like the first shot at those. So everything from battle passes to premium accounts to new types of skins, right? We're gonna have weapon skins, operator skins, specific gear skins. We'll have like a shared space, a headquarters type experience, and operator holders will be the first people to get, specific cosmetics for that and stuff. So you can think of it as like a forever battle pass or a forever pass, because it's not even just, you get stuff for doing nothing sometimes and just holding, and sometimes you'll get like extra quests to go get 10 extra headshots and get, more trap or more in-game currency or whatever, right? And so the short answer is like, we're just going to keep doing shit and giving shit to operators who hold and keep holding. And then in terms of the buyback stuff, I think the buyback stuff was like a dirty word for like the speculator communities that weren't actually delivering value. For me, it's just like, hey, like, we're making a video game. If you think the video game is cool, you should play it. And if you hold our shit and like you don't want to hold our shit anymore, that's okay. We'll buy it and give it away to other people. And like I'll just be like really straight up, like it's part of our budget. I have a line item in my budget for $5,000 every month, and we go to OpenSea and buy operators and give them away to people, right? And that'll keep happening till from now until the end of time. The only thing that'll change is I'll probably spend more money as we make more money doing
That's
that,
sick.
Right? So yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Last housekeeping item I had, we do have, Tony mentioned Parallel. We mention Parallel all the time. We do have Parallel on tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, guys, on NFT Live. Gif, if you want to hop in here as well with any questions, and then we'll take some more questions here from the community. I think we had some. One was saying, when does the beta for Shrapnel get launched officially?
That's where I was going to go, because, we do want to probably jump into other news here in just a minute. And I want to make sure, Tony, that we get the full understanding of the launch, what, the call to actions, what can people be doing right now to make sure that they know, they're on top of it, right? Because there's a million things happening. So we always try and make it as easy as possible so people can get the most, maximize those gains, maximize the experience. Tell us what everybody needs to know and be doing right now.
If you want to play in December, go to shrapnel.com and buy an extraction pack. There's a giant button on the page that says buy now. And you can jump in and start going through the screen that's on here. We're using Stripe. And so you can just use your credit card to buy these things. All of the items within the extraction packs are NFTs. And so as they start being emitted, you'll get them.
How are you, speaking of the balancing and the sort of value of getting in early, how are like people who get in early on this sort of beta and these early packs, what's going to be the sort of differentiation between next waves, et cetera? Is there some really special things that any of these early adopters are going to be left with?
100%. So like on the tangible level, we'll have between 8 and 10, I'm not even supposed to say that, but we'll have between 8 and 10, maybe more limited times when people can come in and play, call it like weekends or weeks or however long it lasts. If you participate in those, each time you participate in one, you will get an exclusive piece of an item, and we're calling them like shards. You'll get like a piece of a skin, a piece of a skin, a piece of a skin, and then you can use Shrap to craft those into the final skin, or you can buy and trade and sell them if you buy multiple extraction packs and you get them on multiple accounts. I'm going to do that. I expect people to do that. And then if you participate in the whole thing, you will get an extra skin at the end that's just fully formed already. So you'll be able to get a total of 3 exclusive skins if you participate in all of the STXs or the training exercise, shrapnel training exercises, as we're calling them. And that's like as it's currently constructed. I'm actually in the trenches constantly trying to see if we can get some more shit in there. But the idea is you'll be able to get 2 skins that are broken up across 4 or 5 pieces, and then 1 fully formed skin as a function of playing in the early access.
All right, Andres is asking for Tony, where is the best hiding place in the game?
I'm so glad you asked that. I'm going to give you some alpha. The well. You want to go into the well.
All right, right here on NFT Live, getting in-game alpha here. Tony, we are jumping off here momentarily, man. I know you got a busy day here. If you got any last things to talk about with Shrapnel, would love to hear them. Otherwise, man, you've been a great guest. You've been killing it. So yeah, shout out to you guys over there building some really cool shit.
Man. No, nothing else. We love you guys. Thanks for having us on. Everyone who's tuning in. Tune in tomorrow for Parallel and buy whatever they're selling. Those guys are the real fucking deal. I love them, and I can't wait to hear more from you guys.
I love that energy, man. We need more of that energy, people supporting others in the space. So thank you, Tony, for that. And yeah, I'm sure we'll talk more soon, man. Can't wait.
Later, dude. The vibes are high, dude. I didn't even have music on that entire time, but I felt like it. Like there was music playing in my head, but I didn't have it. Cutie, you missed it. How much minimum time one needs to spend to get the best from the game? Listen, you got to be quicker than that. If you're going to be that slow on the trigger, you might not want to download the game. Like it's you got to be quick.
Oof.
That's way too slow.
See, that's I'm going to be getting wrecked too. Don't worry. You're not alone. All right, that was great. Any last thoughts on that other than like that was awesome of him to like hook up everyone in our community? I mean, you know, we love that energy. Excited that they're excited about Parallel too. You know, people not just shitting on and being like, "Oh, I don't know if they're any good. Our shit's better." Like that energy. I'm so tired of that energy, you know? So I loved it. That was a great interview. What do you think, Q?
To me, they're from a degen perspective, they're providing value directly to the holders. Like they're not afraid to say something like a buyback. Like I don't understand why these things have been bastardized. I get that the regulatory environment is a certain type of way, but if you structure it correctly, these are ways that businesses and communities can grow together. So he also was talking about Wolf Game. Like these are little tidbits. Like there's a literal degen that's heading this thing up, man. I love it. Like if you're getting into Wolf Game and you're involved in the environment, you're not some fucking corporate bigwig that's like, I'm going to sell it into Web3. It's like, no, you actually understand what's happening here. Dude,
this is actually a good point that you bring up because we need more people that are like the big brain in-game ecosystem, marketplace, tokenomic people who have worked places like EA, who have worked on the biggest existing like in-game mobile marketplaces, because those are the biggest, best examples of the most sophisticated like rewards, token, you know, asset programs. Like, dude, FIFA Ultimate Team and Madden Ultimate Team, those are literally some of the biggest, most successful games in the world that have dealt with these types of like ecosystems and marketplaces. So to have people like that who then get their hands dirty with Web3, playing Wolf Game and these other degen games and apply all that knowledge together, that's what we need. That's what's exciting, is that this team is that hybrid of like experienced AAA video game builders at the biggest publishers in the freaking world, who have also been actually participating in Web3 and know what it is. They understand community and rewards and values and things like that. They're not just LARPing like, hey, we're here for a bag, or we're here to extract value, you know?
If you've tuned into NFT Live before, then I'm preaching to the choir, but I literally cannot tell you more about Parallel that gets me more jazzed. Like we had a great team here. Like this product, Shrapnel, is going to be freaking awesome. And the first thing he says, with unprompted, by the way, is that Parallel is awesome. And so it's like, we didn't ask him like, what Web3 games do you like? What do you do? He was like, no, Parallel is awesome. Like I could not be more bullish on Parallel and Shrapnel. It's the next wave,
because they want it to succeed. And he wants the whole space to succeed. It's yeah, and it's cool, man. Yeah, but great interview. Shout out Tony. Shout out Saigo. That was awesome. That was an awesome cameo. So glad he got to pop in there briefly too. And hopefully Saigo will actually come on more in the future as well and talk to us. Yeah. All right, we do have to keep it moving on to other things. We are already a full 45 minutes or so into this show, ladies and degenerates. If you haven't smashed the like, go ahead and do it. We'll take a moment. We'll wait. We appreciate you. For those of you that have, makes a difference. And we have to talk briefly about the Machi situation, Q, because we jumped straight out of that into this. Yeah. It's been back to back to back. But Marty over here with some hilarious takes saying you should play back the Oni Force moment. We legit got trolled by Machi. I think he called us on one weirdos. I'm pretty sure that's the quote. Machi Big Brother trolling both of us for our Oni Force PFPs, calling us on one weirdos or something. Marty saying, I'm so bullish on BAYC now. Machi's the face, and basically BAYC he knows about PFPs, bullish on apes, bearish on okay, we're getting trolled. But Q, after that interview, you know, I know you've been curious / concerned maybe about Machi taking on such a big role in the ecosystem. How do you feel?
Machi is a outsized personality. So in that environment, when he's there speaking about what he's trying to do and all this stuff, you feel good. Like that's what people with big personalities do. It's like, oh, I trust you. You know what I mean? Like he's saying all the right things. And to be honest, like I come out of that like fresh out of the show, and I'm like, well, I actually back Machi now. Like, but then the degenerate spider sense, I'm like, oh, this is where I get wrecked. This is where it happens. Is you try to trust these people, and then it's all, you know, it's not good. So I will say, like, out of that, he was super personable. I thought he seemed to be talking in some type of authentic manner about a lot of this stuff. It didn't like when he was there, it didn't feel like, oh, this guy's he's lying. You know what I mean? Like he's selling me snake oil. It felt like he actually believed what he was saying.
I agree. I think he mostly did. The thing is, he also very much understands the power that he wields. And he literally was, you know, I asked him point blank. I'm actually very proud of that interview. Today in general, I'm proud of what we're doing here because it is just great content, great interviews, great people. But I'm proud because I felt like we asked him some really legit questions that people are concerned about. We weren't just like glazing him up there and like, oh, we're so happy you're here. Like we were actually asking real questions. So it's recorded on X. Highly recommend if you're curious about what the heck Machi's up to. Go check out this morning's GM Web3 over there. But we asked him point blank, like, are you now the unofficial leader of Ape Coin Dao? And he kind of jokingly was like, yeah, absolutely I am. And he's like, oh, well, no, I mean, it's this and that. But he also specifically said, I mean, they better hope that I stick around. You know, when we were like, what's your plans long term? He's like, look, if I leave, that shit's going to fucking zero. So see, they better hope.
This is what I was talking about when this all first started, because basically once you get in bed with Machi, this is what it becomes. It's like it either me or it's dead. You know what I mean? So I do think this is a wake up call to the DAO. Like go back and listen to that. It started about an hour in. The Bored Ape Gazette came promptly on time, and Gifdead was somehow assuming that he wasn't going to show up. So it was a weird start to that interview, trying to be like, hey, are you from the UK? No, I'm from Florida. And we're just like, all right, cool. I guess, you know, docs things happen. So Quantum Variant is saying Machi is really smart and I really like his ideas. I would probably agree with that. It was the first time I got to speak with him, you know, I say face to face, but in the metaverse face to face, and I did feel like he was saying some good shit. I don't like necessarily the staking idea, because I do think that opens you up. Like you don't want your ETH in some type of attack vector like outside of your wallet, you know. But if you're using Lido or something like that, then this works. I just don't use Lido. I don't have my Ethereum being staked there at this current time.
So I agree. And okay, I simultaneously liked that he was like very transparent and open about some big ideas and like where he sees things going. Again, it's a great interview if you want to go listen to it, because he did have some good answers to an extent. I'm still not, I'm not going to lie, I'm still not fully convinced on the ApeCoin or on the Ape chain. Like he kind of like came up with some ideas to your point, like, oh, we can be extra degen with more DeFi, like layers of DeFi and ZK rollups and staking your ETH on the chain. But the only other thing I've heard, and to your point, there's concerns about that. But the only other thing that I've heard so far that he didn't even talk about was like, oh, we can have a new social fi app. So like, I'm still not convinced that like you really need another chain for all of this, but I'm also not as invested as other people. So
look, it's a fantastic question. I've been doing some ruminating on this. I've been in the Ape Coin Dao spaces when this was initially brought up. It was literally like there was no ape chain talk, at least from a Machi perspective, here in like 2 months ago, and then he just starts to talk about it now. Here's the point, Gif. And this is Machi's main kind of thought process on this, is when you look at maybe an Avalanche is starting to get there, but you look at a Cardano, you look at these tokens or these larger protocols, they're ghost towns. Not in the sense of like there's nobody there, but there's nobody there. And so that's where he's leaning. He's saying, we got all the apes. We got the culture. That's literally what we are. We've got the fucking users. Let's just make our chain. As opposed to making a chain and then expecting users to come there. That's his whole pitch.
Is it enough to justify it? Well, to your point there, it might be more than a lot of chains already have to justify them. So, okay, it's a fair point on that one. Again, I don't know. I'm still not fully convinced, but I do think that I got more of an idea. Yeah, it was interesting that we also somehow got him to speak briefly about the Zach XBT thing, because I brought up, you're a controversial figure. What would you say to the people like my boy Q and others who are invested, who are concerned about that,
by the way,
that outsized role?
I was like, don't tell him I like hate him or something.
I didn't say it. I didn't.
He could have taken it that way for sure. He's like, what do you say to these people that think you're a scammer?
That's what I said. No, I would never say that. But it was good, because I think he addressed how he felt about the Zach XBT thing. It was good to hear his take. He actually said, you know what, it's kind of similar to what we thought, right? We felt like it was kind of a PR stunt. Like, we talked about that, and he kind of verified that. He was like, look, it basically was my way to reintroduce myself to the community. And he said he gained like over 100,000 followers off of that. That's a successful PR stunt, if that's what it was.
Here's my thing. Machi is a little bit like Trump, in my opinion. He's very super polarizing, and what's happening with the Ape Coin Dao right now is almost akin to what happened with the US over the past 10 to 15 years. It's like, bro, like 20 G's for what? Like, he made a really good proposal there. He was like, instead of trying to sneak 5 people into the special council together, why don't we do this one at a time and see what candidates we get? Because at the end of that, we get $100,000 going out of the fucking DAO every single month. And we always come back to the same point, which is like, where are we at? What are we doing? What money are we sending to Ukraine? Well, how much more money do these people need? And I am not on board with the DAO as a grant model. Fuck all of that. That's the kumbaya DAO stuff. I interview people that were talking, like Seed Club, for example. These guys were deep into DAOs, and this dude literally coined the term kumbaya DAO. And what he means by that is we can't all just say, here, we sold NFTs back in 2021, and now we have this treasury of $1 million, so we can throw free pizza parties every year. Dude, that money runs out. The money runs out. You cannot have a grants DAO without having some type of reciprocal relationship to get money into the fucking treasury. So you're seeing it with Nouns right now, dude, but Nouns actually has that money coming in. But they feel like a kumbaya DAO. Everyone's like, wow, there's money going out the door. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, and that's, maybe to me, one of the best excuses or reasons, maybe not excuses, like reasons why to have a chain is that it does start to provide more of that revenue model, right? So, shout out to the amazing people who've been hanging out with us in the chat over here. We got Kivotos jumping in from Twitch. Love to see a Twitch viewer. We don't get too many of those yet, but saying finally a channel I can connect with. Absolutely, man. Yeah, we talk about NFT art all the time. We do our best to cover everything in Web3. It's a lot, but definitely NFT art, fine art, NFTs, generative art has been one of our top topics of the entire year over here. This is a big day for Shrapnel and Machi, though.
Yeah, it's a huge day. Okay, Nick coming in with the good comments, although I didn't like his comment earlier. After I went out of my way to say, yo, put this guy on, like, if you want to hire him at Shrapnel, hire this man. He's awesome. And then he came in with another one. But anyways, Nick Swervis is saying, can always print more ape. Yes, there you go. There's the US analogy continues. So I will say, again, wrapping this up on Machi, he's shaking up the DAO. It's not just more money going out of the ecosystem. There's sentiment around an ape chain. Like, he's doing that.
Yeah. The thing that I want to say on all of this is it's incredible in its own way how political it all is. Like, I felt it. Like, we had Bored Ape Gazette with they've got their own AIP happening. We had SSP who has their own AIPs happening, and then Machi who's like now this person. And I just felt the politician diplomat stuff, the weird stuff, like the politics that's happening around the Ape Coin Dao is fascinating. If nothing else, like Bored Apes has always been very sort of political since it picked up and became the biggest thing in NFTs. But man, with the grant money, with the DAO, with all these different things happening, it's crazy political. And so I think it's interesting that you compare him to like the Trump of it. You know, I agree. He's like the Trump in this weird political system that's happening.
Look, it's a well-formed and capitalized DAO. Like this is what happens when you have $1 billion in treasury, is you have people that want to work for this stuff. And Bored Ape Yacht Club has one of the most mature DAOs. So a lot of people are on the outside of this. If you actually go to these spaces and you see these people interact, it's like, holy shit, there's like a full ecosystem here, which is exactly what you want to see. So, all right. I did have one more piece. There is that vote that is live, by the way. So Quantum Variant, I know you hold ApeCoin. I know some others hold ApeCoin here. The vote for the controversial cut of the salaries of the special counsel is live now. I'm going to try to find that for y'all because I did interact with it on X. I just am having trouble. But that it's super contentious right now. 50-50 almost.
Very contentious. Kivotos, first of all, saying he's got a new generative NFT collection. So do I, man. Would love to talk about it and learn more. If you want to just, share the name of it, we can try and look into it. And maybe if it's something that we want to cover, we can talk about it. Asking apes, Azuki, penguins, or punks. I don't think Azuki should be in that conversation at all. I'll definitely right now take a penguin over any of them.
Love it. I fuck with this post so much, and Degentraland, I also fuck with a little bit here. He's saying the Ape Coin Dao is a failure. One of the highest participation votes since conception is a 50% salary cut for the special counsel. Meanwhile, hundreds of millions have been hemorrhaged from top to bottom. Zero hedging strategies, strategic token swaps, an influx of inefficient, often senseless proposals. We need a complete restructuring of the DAO. The simple reality that most people don't want to hear or too scared to say is that not everyone should be a decision maker. And Gif, I'll wrap it up. And it sounds like I'm ending on a negative note, but to your point, like seeing all of this political stuff take place, it is political. And these people are making a lot of money. And sometimes they're not offering that value back to the DAO in the ways that we want to see it. So, I'll be voting on that proposal. You can see there at least 4 hours ago, the proposal was at an 80% for 51% for the cut at 8 million. And 48% against. And this has changed a little bit since this post, so I'll try to get an update. I'm hot right now. So you gotta take over.
Look, I'm just appreciating all the awesome people over here. Why not Azukis? We don't have time to get into all that, man. There's a lot of reasons why. Prohibition announced a Gen Art competition. That's sick. We should look into that a little bit. Thanks for sharing, Squash Man. Always coming through with the alpha. DP saying, I'll be honest, the salary cut is kind of whack. Just put better people in the positions. I don't know if I agree. I don't agree with that, bro. Like, dude, for a part-time job where there's not really clear KPIs on what they're even doing, $20K a month is insane. It's actually insane. Like, it really is. I'm not even involved, but like, yeah, I'm not even involved. Like, Yatsu's the one person that I've heard that like maybe, but even him, man, like getting 10K a month is still a lot of fucking bread, bro.
20.
No, that's what I'm saying. Even cutting it half, getting 10K a month for an advisory role, a part-time role, is more than most people get paid for a 40-hour. It's, I don't know. So I just don't know that I agree, but.
All right, I want to change it up a little bit. More positive vibes back in. We've been having a super positive morning. It sounds like we're being like getting on the ApeCoin DAO, but
politics does this, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. All right, so if you notice something over here on this Bored Ape Gazette, this Spaces, we got a new profile picture finally from Gifdead, and he made the official announcement as well that he is joining 1-0 on. What did Machi call us?
On one weirdos. I'm officially a Ronin for the on one weirdos. Thanks, Machi. We'll never forget that. Marty will never let us forget that.
Yeah. So these are absolutely stunning. From like just they're fucking cool. The backgrounds are unique. You have the awesome Mempo mask there.
New mask traits.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep,
so
switched it up. Then I am a Naka PFP no more. I do still have my one remaining Naka. It's in my cold storage, so I'm still a Naka, but had to switch up the PFP for something more elegant with a little bit more I don't know,
a little bit more
Attention.
community support.
Yeah, a little bit more something behind it. It would be funny. It would have been interesting to know what Machi would have said about my Naka if I was rocking that. Anyway, we'll never know. We'll never know.
Nick Swerve saying, "Hey Q, can I use you as a reference when I send my resume to Tony?" Absolutely not. Don't you don't want
use
him
me.
Calling me.
Use me, man.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do a
slap
combo.
Gifdead on any.
Slap gift at a nifty Q. I love this space. All right, we are moving on. I'm gonna try to get us back on track here a little bit. All right, so Moonbirds was one of our biggest winners. Okay, so somebody woke up and had the exact same day as me today. They woke up, they saw Moonbirds was up 25%. They're like, finally, my bags are back. Like, this is going to be the move. And really what we're seeing across the broader space right now with NFTs, at least the big collections, is there is a flooring effect. There is a blend/blur effect that is happening with FLC here and the flooring protocol. So you saw this announcement, Moonbirds. Everybody ran up the Moonbirds price prior to this. So that would have been a good play. The question of like whether this is still a good play if you have any liquidity left, folks, is up for debate, right? So I'm gonna try to get over to the Moonbirds. Where we at? Moonbirdies, they've already come down, but you can see Mythics here and Moonbirds here up 30% on the 7-day. That was primarily all from this move, and people were speculating that they were going to get listed to flooring, and they did. So this is happening across several collections, Oni being one of them. I don't know if this is going to continue. Usually these kind of just like simmer out over time. The more collections that get added, the less liquidity is like kind of concentrated into one collection when it launches.
Yup. It's interesting, man. I'm over here in the comments right now. DeCryptoLorian asking, what should we tell people to do for the extraction packs? I would say, like, we're gonna have to follow up and get all your wallets. If you want to make it easy, just DM me on X at Gifdead or at Web3. But we'll go back and look through the comments for all the people that were here participating and just make sure that we get all those wallets over to Shrapnel.
Okay, we've been telling you about Get Reach. We've covered Base and Friend Tech, and we've covered what other ones? Meme Token right now. Like right now, it's airdrop season. Like I agree with this take. I saw it on my timeline. Arcade is joining that mix. So arcade.xyz saying Arcade DAO is launching today. The Arcade protocol and governance will be managed by its users. The thread below will cover the key points. This also coming on the backs of them saying we did a snapshot. There is an Arcade token coming. So right now it just feels like whether it's Base, whether it's Arcade, whether it's
Friend Tech,
like
Get
all of
Reach,
it's airdrops, it's activity season right
flooring. Now. Yeah, dude, Shrapnel, Parallel. So this is what I wanted to try and get into a little bit this morning, but obviously we got absolutely hijacked and went off into an unexpected direction. It happens sometimes, but I do want to put some more time and attention into what's going on right now with DeFi and like entrepreneurship and people trying to make it. You know, like the question that I want to get at is like, how can you sustain a whole living just by farming? You know, like, is it possible to have a good living just off of farming? What does that look like? What are the new entrepreneurs doing in the space to survive? That's a big question. So again, I don't think we're going to get to all the answers. I'm just kind of setting it up that, yeah, this is something that I'm seeing. Obviously, all these different protocols are coming out right now. And it's kind of that next wave, right? It's that next wave of farming protocols, games, whatever it is. How do you make the most out of it?
You're right, and my mind is just kind of turning on how the best way right now, because right now what you want to be doing, if I'm using the experience in the space, is like, first of all, you need to be in different groups. Like we can provide some really good value here by, kind of bringing back the information to you guys that we have in our groups, but you need to be in our groups. We would love to connect with you guys if you are in these several groups. Like having a hive mind GIF is the way to go. Like finding these different apps, Get Reach, finding a couple different social fi competitors when they do launch, if you want to go that route. Yeah, the answer I will give you is like, it's not a way to make a living per se. It's a stimmy, right? And often a stimmy before a bull run can be what you need to, you know what I'm saying? And I'll use the Uniswap example. DeFi Summer was that. You used Curve, you got a Curve airdrop. You use Uniswap, you got a Uniswap airdrop. That set people up to be able to deploy capital. And it honestly, it led to, you could make the argument it led to the bull run because people were getting an extra stimmy here, like kind of the we keep bringing back to the US, but the stimmy that everybody got from the US during COVID. Like, this is a stimmy, man. If you can get 1,000, 2,000, pick the right one and you got 10 G's, there you go.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. And it's all about, you know, getting that ETH, getting those rewards points, whatever it is, to your point, hopefully roll that into some other things when the market's turning around. I'm not familiar with Arcade, really excited to look into that more. But I'm just excited to see Pepe is up over 80% on the week. So shout out to any Pepe hodlers out there who still believe.
Absolutely, man. And DP saying farming is only as good as the cash flowing into the space. When macro is taking the hit, then it's tanking. Farming goes to shit. I will add on to that. You have a micro environment, though. If you do have a Uniswap happen where everybody gets 5Gs, then that is a micro like influx into, I just mentioned, it's a stimulus. You don't have to have normies coming into space because the degens just got paid. They're going to put that money somewhere else.
Yeah. And I did really like Nick's versus comment. I grew up in Indiana. GIF farming ain't easy. Yeah, it's true. It's a hard way to make a living. But also you brought up Uniswap here briefly. I wanted to pull this up because you know what? Shout out NFT Cutie. He was actually the one that brought this up on the show a day or two, and we didn't really touch on it. This is just a weird story. Did you see this?
It feels like a novelty to me, so I really didn't.
Well, that was my question: is like, who's actually buying these for $3 million? Is that just like a floor price?
Yes.
Like, there's no one buying these for $3 million, right?
It reminds me of like the Uniswap socks. To be honest, like there's not really a market, but they're like collectible items.
Yeah. So Hayden Adams, creator of Uniswap, burned nearly all the supply of ApeCoin on October 20th. Initially created in 2019 for testing before Uniswap's launch. A tiny fraction was left in the liquidity pool. Recently, traders discovered the remaining Hay tokens and acquired 4.4 tokens available on the open market. Prices surged to hundreds of thousands per token given the extremely limited supply. This is one of these crazy things. It's kind of like finding an OG NFT, right? It's like blockchain forensics happening with ERC20s.
Yep.
That's wild.
Nick Swerve saying, feel that Marty get you. Okay. Let's see. Play the Machi clip. I can't find the Machi clip. It's like in a 2-hour long video.
Yeah, we got maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll be able to pull it up for tomorrow.
Unisoc started it all. Kivotas. Hey guys, what's your X so I can join you from there? There's Gifdeads over there in the corner. Nifty Q's right here, and also in the description that you should have a direct link to both of our profiles. Okay.
Thanks for asking.
DP saying, but once the stimmy runs out, then what? Okay, so two things there. One, it's better to be going up than continuously down over what we've seen in the past 2 years. So it's at least we're kind of turning the flywheel in the other direction. And then the other thing is, yes, that's the timing game that you're playing. It like literally DeFi Summer ran up into NFT, whatever the fuck it was. NFT, what do we even call that time?
The
just
bull
mania.
Market. Yeah.
So
Euphoria, bull market, mania.
So the stimmy never ran out. In that sense, it took a year and a half maybe. So that's, to your point, like what goes up must come down, but that could be over a year's time, or it could be, if you choose the wrong one, done for you. The liquidity has to come from too often. We get caught up in this.
All right. Any other stories, Q? Let's wrap it up here.
There's liquidity there's liquidity on the sidelines. A lot of people, a lot of money in the space that are willing to do that. Red Phone is talking about some things here. A friend just asked me about the preparatory steps I'd take for the upcoming bull market. This guy's really good, by the way. He writes some really insightful threads. Preparation for me are really honing in on my mistakes in the last cycle and avoiding them. 7 things I did wrong. Took on too much, so I couldn't focus enough on trading and having the headspace to make good decisions. Didn't sell when I went out to dinner and literally heard 3 other tables talking about crypto. 3, didn't make enough left curve trades. So like simp trades, like just I buy Doge at some point. 4, stayed too concentrated in one area and didn't take unvested tokens into consideration. 5, got behind on my accounting, so I was making decisions based on limited visibility into my tax situation. 6, and this one's probably the most common, sold but didn't sell enough. 7, tried to avoid pain. I didn't want to sell crypto for USD when I couldn't get any yield on USD. Looking back, I let the market push me around. All that said, early 21 was the most insane and fun time of my life. I'm just thankful to have been a part of it, and I hope to live through many more cycles. Any takes there, Gif, on Red Phone?
I thought overall that was great. I think there's a lot to take away from that. And shout out to Red Phone for some great, thoughtful content there. Nick Swerve is saying, remember the ENS airdrop? Yes, I do. Take me back.
Is it airdrop season though? Like that's what we just covered. Like it's important that we talk. I don't want to get.
We're gonna see what these look like. I don't know that we're ever gonna. Like my intuition tells me that a lot of these airdrops, unless you're the top 10, top 20 or whatever, are not going to be as big. And I'm not entirely sure why I feel that way. Like maybe they're going to be bigger than I expect. I just feel like that was a time and a place where value and liquidity was being splashed and shared around like crazy. And I feel like a lot more people are being way more careful, and I don't know. So I think if you can stack a bunch of airdrops, you might be able to get thousands of dollars together, to your point, Q. I just don't know if we're going to get to that place again where you just wake up and you've got $8,000 sitting there or whatever that was, you know, because there was some wild airdrops happening at the time, and it was fucking awesome.
It's just a spark to light that match, dude, of human greed of like, holy shit, wait, they got $10,000. I have to get into this. So yeah, I generally agree with you, dude. It's cautious. You're cautious. Yeah. You don't want to like make that move. All right, I'm going to show you guys one quick thing. We are going to get out of here in the next 2 to 3 minutes, guys. If you can help us do that,
dude. This quote from Swervis. This is just legendary degeneracy right here. This is the type of stuff that will go into the book, the Guinness book, the Hall of Fame. My buddy used to get hammered and buy stupid ENS names for fun. He got dropped $150K for being an absolute degenerate. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it.
I walked into the On Cyber. Remember On Cyber? I don't know if they're still around.
Yeah, they're still around. They're one of the few that I think is going to make it. I think they're going to make it long term.
I walked into my On Cyber and I was just, I had some of my NFTs up. I was like, bro, this looks whack. Like I want to have I want something cool to put in here so that when somebody comes in here, they like, oh yeah, this is cool. Bought a Bored Ape and then got airdropped whatever the fuck. It's just so fucking random. I do have to show you guys this real quick. We've been covering the Velocity series. Velocity series pulled back 50%. The SnowFro mint was this morning. You can see what happened after it. You can see what happened after everybody minted the SnowFro piece. Not looking forward to the Jack Butcher, I guess. But yeah, 0.69 nice for a Velocity series here.
Yo, that might be a buying opportunity. Look, not NFA, y'all know what it is. We're not financial advisors, but if you were waiting to get in on it, this is again my problem and concern with the mint passes, because I love them conceptually. I don't know where this is in the life cycle, how many other artists. That's the risk. But otherwise, it's like, even just to get a legit limited edition Jack Butcher special thing, it might be worth that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's cool to know they dropped. So hey, if you were interested in Velocity series, might be the time to be checking it out.
All right, last updates for me, Gif. If you have any other ones that you want to share, please drop them. Obviously, the meme coin craze is going crazy right now. Speaking of farming, here's another one. Meme token is launching its details on its fire sale here I believe the date. I want to make sure I have the date right. Damn it! I wish I did have the date for y'all. I need to get that. But anyways, yeah, the meme token is going to be obviously associated with the Captain's ecosystem, meme land. A lot of people are tweeting about this on the timeline in like some type of copy pasta. You have to do that to share out and earn, I believe, which is interesting, Gift, because that's what Get Reach does, right? It's like, here, retweet, post a certain thing, and you get some points. So we're seeing more of that integrated with X. Personal anecdote, very quick on Friendtech here. Friendtech is recovering a little bit. The worst of the bloodshed is over. Even on my timeline, like it's not 50% down, 40%, like that's over with. The people that are going to be around for the long term are here. That's what's really cool thing about this situation. It's a good opportunity to buy people that got wrecked if they're going to be here long term. Otherwise, everybody here that hasn't been shaken out is fucking here for the long haul for the most part. So that is a really dope thing to come out of the negative.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear it. I mean, to me, I just feel like it's until the next it pops up again, and then the next person does it. But who knows? Who knows?
If you weren't gonna
I'm sure
here, if you do sell here, you're not gonna.
Each time you shake out a few more of those people, right? And I just don't know how many times that has to happen. But yeah, I think you probably shook out quite a few of those people. So that's good. Happy to hear it. Look, the only thing that I got to share is, of course, this, which is my biggest news of the week. And look, we're about to wrap this up. I want to make sure everybody knows that the allow list for my first generative art project, Coffins, is open. It is open right now, and it gets you 2 free mints when the pre-sale window opens. This is what the link goes to. It's right there. Join the wait list. That's all you got to do. It's totally free. Gets you in on 2 free mints on November 13th when the project drops. There will be a pre-sale window. The pre-sale window is probably only going to be a day or two. So you got to make sure that you're ready for it. Get on that now. That's all I got, Q.
Yeah, the different traits here you guys aren't seeing from this one photo, but there are a ton of different traits involved in this collection that I actually was able to get my eye on, which was dope. So, all right, last thing, guys, we are out of here. By the way, it's been a fucking fantastic day. These are the days you came in here to NFT Live saying this is what I'm here for. So we're wrapping up that day. The last thing I will say, in the best form of do you want to be right or make money that I've ever seen, although it's pulling back right now 26%. The Michelin Explorer Club is up 50% on the day from when we were fading them. You can see fade, a pump, and now we're kind of retracing, but it did get all the way up to a floor price of 0.16. Like shrapnel, like literally shrapnel.
I'm shook.
Shrapnels.
I'm shook because I will recall for you, Q, and everyone listening, who was the one person that was excited and loving these when they dropped?
I don't know who.
This guy. And so, when you're right, you're right. I'm not always right, but I think that there's still a lot of potential, and I actually think that these NFTs are hilarious. They're like ironically bad.
Let's look at them. We got a reveal, Gift.
Dude, they're ironically bad in the way that I like, so.
All right, I'm going to do my best to navigate Blur here. It's giving me a fucking hard
also,
time.
to Kivoto's asking, are these PFPs or what? If you're asking about Coffins, they could be used as PFPs, but they're really more going towards that art collectible, generative art and collectible realm. So it would be awesome to see some people rock Coffins as PFPs. I do think that they will look good. They're square and centered as far as format. So yeah, some of the rare Coffins, maybe people will want to rock them as PFPs, but as Q said, there's a lot of different traits, and it's much more in trying to create something really nice and art, nice and unique, and more in that generative art realm.
I'm gonna do my best to be unbiased here. We're ending out the show by going through these Michelin pieces, and then we're out of here. Sayonara, folks. But unbiased opinion, you at home watching with us. Let's just look at these and see what we might find.
Oh, you got to play the animations, my guy. You got to choose a few. Yes, sir.
Wow, dude.
Yes, sir.
It looks like a VC. This dude's walking into A16Z's offices right now.
Bro, my guy is fully gorped up. That is gorpy AF. Y'all don't know about that.
Naked. This should not even be allowed.
What do you know about that gorp core wave? Huh?
Jesus. We got the varsity jacket here. My man just came from fucking
Gorped
hanging
up,
out at his
bro.
local pub.
Bro, my man is smashing cheerleaders. What are you talking about? Fully gorped.
Anything on this list? Let's search by rarity here. We're searching price low to high, like we're gonna be sweeping the floor. Let's go to these grails, these Michelin grails. Let's see what we got.
Grail City.
You see any grails yet? We got a tire that's kind of icy. What's going on here? That's
this
cool.
This bro is the most gorpy I've ever seen. Yo,
what is gorp? Why
you don't know about that gorp core wave, bro?
Is anybody seeing anything on here where you're just like, man, like,
yo, he got a toolbox? Yo, we got toolboxes?
This is worth like $300.
Wait, go down to the yellow, right, wait. I'm looking at the kicks. I'm looking for some dope kicks, bro. Right, yeah, wait, to the right. That one to the right of him. Yo, click in there. Yo, my man is flexing. Are those Jordans?
They should have partnered with Artifact. That would have made me get into fucking Michelins.
Yo.
What the fuck?
These are
man?
so good. This is legendary, Q, and you just don't get it, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can get genius when they first see it.
Some of this shit is disrespectful. like what the fuck, man? I'm back in my arc though. I'm fading it. It's gonna go up to 0.5. Definitely.
Hey, more fade it all day. I'll be right. You know, I'll be right.
All right. Do we see anything? Did anybody have any takes on these beautiful PFPs here? So
Michelin,
many obvious grails.
Yeah.
Grail City.
We're done. It was a good show. We did it.
UPS Butler. I'm never going to a Michelin star restaurant ever again. Dude, that's just all right. Fun day, GIF. Appreciate you joining me on this journey, man. This was a fun, awesome time. Thank you guys for tuning in as well. Leave a like before you get up out of here. Those of you that tuned in all the way.
Hanging like that. It's fine. We got to have an animation that just like pops off when we touch tips.
I really feel like that should just die out and we shouldn't do it. But.
What a day. What a day from your twin Ronins up here. Thank you all for being part of this crazy ride with us.
Guess what? We get to do it all again tomorrow with Parallel. Peace out.